The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Scrimmage number 1 is in the books for the Ducks. Oregon back on the practice field today. Mario Cristobal, we've got 2 things for you coming. It's going to be interesting to dissect all of this. Coach Cristobal met with the media immediately following the scrimmage, and he had some initial thoughts. And then he followed up with some of those thoughts today. We're going to have Coach Cristobal 2 separate days, 3 separate interviews, all kinds of Mario Cristobal for you on the show today. That's the plan. Also, Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel will join us. His team won 2-0 in their exhibition start to the season on Friday, and the official opener, the first counting game, is against Fresno State. Does that sound familiar? 2 Oregon teams that are starting out with Fresno State. Yeah, that's coming up on Thursday for Oregon soccer. The start to the Oregon athletic season, 7 o'clock at Pape Field on Thursday. The AP Top 25 is officially out today. Oregon has now been ranked in the top 11 of the preseason AP poll for 3 straight years. They were number 9 in 2020, number 11 to kick off 2019, and the Ducks have appeared in the AP preseason top 25 in 11 of the last 12 years. Can you believe that? That is consistency from the Oregon football program. Your top teams, it's Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas A&M, Iowa State, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Oregon. The top Pac-12 team, followed by number 15 USC, number 20 Washington, number 24 Utah, number 25 Arizona State. There's your AP top 25 and the teams that matter here, at least in the Pac-12. Highest ranked Pac-12 team, though, for the Ducks in both the USA Today coaches poll and in the AP Top 25. All right, let's recap the scrimmage. I was there. Some of you season ticket holders were there, and I got to say, for those of you part of the Duck Athletic Fund and the season ticket holders, thanks for being there. I hope that you enjoyed about 5 ice cream sandwiches like I did. That was a benefit to our season ticket holders. Thank you for being there, and I hope that you enjoyed it because it was great to have you back inside Autzen Stadium. And, hey, for those of you who were there, if anybody who was there is in the comments right now, live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, how about that scoreboard and sound system, huh? I'm telling you, that thing's legit. Here's a couple of my thoughts before we hear from Coach Cristobal. I thought that the defense started out really well. I thought Isaiah Brevard really looked the part as a great receiver. Man, those young wide receivers, you talk about Troy Franklin, you talk about Dante Thornton, and you're going, now you add Isaiah Brevard. They look to him a lot. Thought he made some really nice plays. C.J. Verdell stuck out in the passing game, not just in the run game to Rob Mosley. That was his big note in the Quack Minute. And Ty Thompson shined under the lights. He really did. I thought Ty Thompson really looked the part of the 5-star quarterback recruit coming in. You can tell that as time has gone on, he's getting more and more comfortable in an Oregon practice uniform. And when the lights were on, he sure did shine bright. The players of the scrimmage, according to the team, on the offense, Ty Thompson. What do you know? Also, Cooper Schultz, one of those young tight ends. We talk so much about the tight end position being deep. He was a guy that stuck out to the coaches. And one note before we talk about the defensive side of the ball, Mario Cristobal did confirm today, some of you saw it that were there, Patrick Herbert did sustain an injury during the scrimmage. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for a while. The depth of that tight end group going to be tested. Feel for Patrick Herbert, man. He went through an injury last year. Now he's going to go through one again this year. It just sucks. There's no other way to put it for Patrick Herbert. The good news, though, for the Ducks, the team with that next man up mentality, is that they do feel pretty good about the depth there. Now to the defense, Drew Mathis was named one of the players of the scrimmage, along with Mikhail Wright. He's a 2-timer, by the way. More on that in a second. Noah Sewell also getting player of the scrimmage recognition, along with Christian Williams for the Ducks on the defensive side. And then how about in special teams? Tom Snee. Got to love when hey, anybody who's heard me talk about this, you know I love a good punter. completely changes the game, and no one ever thinks about it. Tom Snee, my guy, that's awesome. And Mikael Wright, the return specialist, he also. So on defense and in special teams, Mikael Wright was a player of the scrimmage, according to the Oregon football program. Dustin says Cooper played big. He keeps playing like that. He's going to get playing time for sure. I agree, man. I think that guys like Spencer Webb, it was great to see DJ Johnson back with the team. He's now back. Cam McCormick was out there doing a few things. I mean, there's guys that have gone through injury that are working their way back. And you couple that with guys like Maliki Matavayo, Terrence Ferguson, and then, like Cooper Schultz. I mean, there's a lot of tight ends that could really, really factor in. Bobby Williams, Oregon tight end and special team coach, said last week that there will be packages within Coach Moorhead's offense. Well, they'll feature 2, maybe even 3 tight ends because they have the personnel. You got to love that. It's a huge mismatch. I think it's going to be a huge advantage for Oregon's offense this year. But now those guys got to show up in game settings, and we'll find out on September 4th. Mario Cristobal, his initial thoughts following the scrimmage. This was in the evening, right after he had just watched the scrimmage. He had some great things to say, and then we'll hear from Coach Cristobal from after practice today a little later on, and you'll hear one thing that I like doing when we have an opportunity to do this on a Monday show, when you hear from Coach Cristobal on Saturday, and then again here right before we get on the air on Monday. If you're with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Coach just wrapped up talking with the media. It's cool for me to kind of sit here and go, okay, this is what he thought right after the scrimmage, and then this is what he thought after watching the film. Sometimes, a little different reaction. And in some cases, it was a little different reaction today. Here's part 1. Coach Cristobal meeting with the media right after the scrimmage, his initial thoughts.
Thank you for waiting. Certainly good to get the guys out here for a scrimmage. Great to have our fans out here. Certainly a big part of what we do here at Autzen Stadium. It's just great to see them, and we're very grateful for them being here. We know they want to be a big part of September 4th, and we can't wait to see them. Overall, like the usual first scrimmage, some good stuff, some stuff that is not so good, needs to be cleaned up. Things we're looking for besides execution and effort were some of the intangible things, the communication, the being able to maintain eye discipline, the ability to substitute properly, finish plays, which is part of effort, of course. A lot of those things showed up at times, and other times it didn't. Thought the defense came out fast, came out really, really strong. Caused some issues for the offense. Offense caused its own issues, too, with some penalties. It was good to see because, not the penalties, of course, but the defense coming out strong. Offensively, felt like in the springtime, the offense probably got the better of the defense today. Early on, the defense showed a big. After that, playing situational football, the offense did well in the red zone, did well at the goal line. 2-minute drill, a couple guys stepped in and made some really big plays. So overall, a lot of good film to learn off of. And week 1 in camp is in the books. Got to get ready for week 2.
Looked like a lot of the guys who arrived in the summer really showed out among the true freshmen, including like Isaiah, Seven, Byron. What do you see from them offensively?
These guys are good football players. Seven showed up also in the return game. You saw him back there. Plenty of confidence in him. Just very natural at it. Also, his ability to make people miss and create plays, just make explosive plays, impressive. Troy was off tonight, but Troy has been making some really big plays in camp. Isaiah really showed up big tonight. Maliki, Terrence Ferguson, both those guys really showed up big. Byron as well. That's important to know. Kingsley. Kingsley played really well in his time in there also. Jackson Powers Johnson did not play tonight. He got a little bit dinged up. You saw we got some camp tweaks out there, some guys working with trainers on the side. Don't think we have anything major, but enough to hold some guys out tonight or have limited playing time tonight. Just all in all, yeah, the young guys are showing up, and they're showing up big.
Defensively, you're in a spot because of necessity, because you're talking about dings. The secondary, you're out a whole unit. The strong side backer, you're down 3 of your top 4 guys. Yet those positions, I thought played quite well tonight. I thought your secondary did really well.
But all right, we got to set edges better. Especially when some of the stuff we won't get into detail about scheme, but we have to set edges better. We pressured the quarterback well. We certainly can work edges. We can in the passing game. We're very explosive. We're fast. We can close on ball carriers. We can close on quarterbacks. Seemed like we played man coverage a lot better today. Press man, off man. Some of our match stuff we did really, really well. Just all in all, a lot of guys are getting experience and they're performing well, and we expect them to.
How do you assess Dante and Quez at this point, just in terms of the competition between the two of them? I know it's going to always be ongoing, but at this point,
yeah, those two get after it now, and they, they're also good friends. But there's when we go out to practice, they know it's straight business, and we appreciate them for that because competition should never be a threatening thing over here. They embrace it. Let me go back. They don't embrace it; they attack it. And they attack it the right way, and we think that because of their approach to it, they become better football players. and they've gained a lot of confidence from their teammates. You watch whenever they make a play, their teammates rally to them. That's really important.
Coach, I don't think the running backs ran 2 times in a row. Was that by design to passing game mostly today? I don't think the running backs ran 2 times in a row. Handoff.
You mean the same guy twice in a row?
Not the same guy, just a running back twice in a row.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably, from a rotational standpoint, probably didn't get the same guy to go twice in a row. So.
No, I just meant running plays twice in a row.
Gotcha.
Okay.
How would you assess the play at quarterback from Anthony in particular and the younger guys?
Anthony early, I thought, was had some pressure, delivered some good balls. Some were accurate, some were not. I thought some really bright moments, other ones he'd like to have back. I thought he did a good job getting out of pressure, coming out of some collapsed pockets and making some plays with his feet. Had to watch the rest on film. We threw a couple young receivers in there with the ones and got to make sure they were running the right route at times. All in all, there's some pluses, some minuses, things to fix. Young quarterbacks went in there, did a nice job. Thought they all had their moments. They all moved the ball at times. With those the live racks, we were trying to get 12 reps with each unit. So sometimes you saw us 3 and out, punt the ball, and then all of a sudden we're driving at the 35-yard line and then call it dead. Well, we're approaching 13 and 14 plays. We're trying to get 25 to 30 live plays with those guys and then go to thud. So that's why that worked out that way. But when that did happen, guys got some reps, they made the most of it.
What's, I guess, the next couple of days for you guys? I know you're taking a couple of days off.
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Not tomorrow?
Not ever, man. That's not going to happen. No. Well, I guess your days off now by NCAA rule, by new legislation or last year's legislation, is that you can have them for 2 hours and it has to be meetings. It cannot be walkthrough at all. So what we'll do is we'll review this film with them. They'll have treatment. They'll have yoga, voluntary. We'll have a guest speaker come in and address them. We always try to drive a powerful message home at least once a week, sometimes twice. And we got a good guest speaker coming in. And they should be done by 2 o'clock. But Monday, it's right back at it. I believe we're in shells. We should be in shells on Monday. You have a certain amount of days in full pads and other times in shells. But we'll be right back to our typical, mixed down stuff, red zone stuff, some more 2-minute work, probably some 4-minute, 2-minute work before we head into more situational stuff on Tuesday, like, the new overtime rules. The officials today were here, David Coleman and his associates. This was a live crew. And, besides the pre-snap penalties, there was some clean football going on. The frustrating stuff was the pre-snap stuff. And that's a couple different things. Focus and concentration, number one. Number two, a level of urgency of getting set. When you take a long time to get set and that motion's a little bit slow, you can hear everybody. I can hear you talking sometimes, you know what I mean? So I think some of those things can help us be a better operation.
He looked actually right at me when he said, I could hear you talking sometimes during those situations. And I got to tell you, I had a little PTSD going back to Matthew Knight Arena where it was empty and I felt like Coach Altman and the coaches could hear literally every word I said while I was broadcasting the game. I had a moment of like, oh, we're good. He was kidding, but I was like, man, I don't want that again. Because fans, it was so awesome having you back in Autzen Stadium. Like, I cannot wait until we are able to do that at a full, just awesome capacity. So, but anyway, when he said that, I was like, oh man, I don't want that anymore. We don't, no one wants that. That's Mario Cristobal meeting with the media. We got more coming up from Coach Cristobal breaking down the first scrimmage. Hey, New Era TB says, glad we can hear this and see this. Beats Twitter. I agree. This is what we're here for. This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
More from Coach Cristobal following the first scrimmage in a moment. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Every time we hear from Coach Cristobal and some of the assistant coaches this year, it's brought to you by our good friends at the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. We're already getting ready to honor some great Duck fans and some awesome, awesome stories with our cancer survivor fighting like a duck at every single Autzen Stadium home game. We didn't get a chance to do that and have that moment for a standing ovation for those that have fought and beat cancer thanks to WVCI. And I got to tell you, these are some of the more moving moments at a football game, and that's what you see. It's the game day experience, and it's stuff like that that we didn't get last year. It's stuff like that thanks to WVCI that, man, it's bigger than football, and it makes you really value those sorts of moments when you get those standing ovations. Beyond that, veteran of the game is another one that I always am like, man, that one hits different. It's going to be a lot of fun to have everybody back. That means a lot. Coach Cristobal continuing to break down the first scrimmage. Again, this is right after the scrimmage. Coach hasn't watched the film, but you'll notice here in part 2 of this conversation with the media that he's got a couple thoughts where he needs to look at the film. He followed up on that in just a moment. It's a full day of Mario Cristobal on the show today. Here's Coach talking again, part 2.
Thompson, definitely a guy that looked pretty good out there today. I thought, ball coming out fast and, taking some shots at tight windows. What are maybe some parts of his game that maybe look ahead of schedule of your typical freshman?
I think he hit it on the head. He was decisive tonight. When there was pressure, he found the way out most of the time. Towards the end of the game, towards the end of the 2-minute drill, he didn't eat the ball. Sometimes a freshman will say, I don't want to throw an interception, he'll eat the ball, the clock runs out, you're dead. Now that one scenario, he got lucky, had 1 second on the clock. But aside from that, he was very precise for most of the evening. Thought he made good decisions in the running game as well. The RPO decisions, they looked like they were really good. He's a really good football player. The sky's the limit for Ty. I thought Butterfield did really good. Robbie was limited today, only because he had been dinged up early in the week. Nothing too bad, but we only gave him a couple of series today, but you saw him go right down the field. I mean, him and Isaiah hooked up, I think, 3 times in the same drive. So all in all, just these quarterbacks are coming, and we feel like we have a lot of confidence in them.
Trevin's one of those third-year freshmen, hasn't seen a lot of opportunity, but because of this week, because of the strong side, he's got a lot tonight. What have you seen from him, not just tonight, over the course of this week on film?
I mean, few people in this world deserve it as much as Trevin does. I mean, he last year is such a hard year for those guys. No off season and then 6 games of a regular season. It's hard to count that as a year for those guys. And we look at him as a second-year freshman. A lot of those guys. What do I see from him? 265 pounds. When he got here, he was about 228, 235 pounds. Relentless worker, tremendous attitude. Teammates love him. Just keeps getting better and better. Has become really physical, uses his hands a lot better. He can set edges really well now. He's thick, and he's learned to work edges in the passing game. He's made himself a formidable pass rusher. He's going to help us this year.
You talked about Cam and his journey. Both him and his mom had really credited you for instilling and maintaining the confidence over 3 years. Why, as you've seen plenty of players medically retire, why did you maintain that confidence that this could continue? And then you're seeing the fruits of it. You're seeing even, I know it's a day at a time, but back on the field tonight.
All the credit goes to Cam. I love the fact that, they say those kind of words, but it's, any time you just go until you really and you stay with someone until they just really can't go anymore. And Cam's got a just ginormous heart. He's a great football player now. I think people forget what a great player he was because it's been a long time. And his heart is completely in it. And that's the very least we could do is stick by him, stick with him, have his back 100%. I think this is going to end really well for him. So just, again, a great family, deserves an opportunity, deserves, football is unforgiving sometimes, but we see it that this is going to end well because he's continuing to progress, and hopefully we get another jump, another big jump in his recovery.
Mario, same position group, but thoughts on the young tight ends, Maliki, Terrence, how they did tonight?
Oh, they did well now. You guys saw it. I mean, they corner balls, digs, and they caught a lot of different passes. I think what makes us a little bit different is that we're big at that position and physical, so we get in line and, block that C gap, play action, pass, protect, and we could also stretch the field. So those guys are, they're young, and I mean, heck, they were just at prom like 2.5 months ago. Those guys really haven't seen much of college ball, but those guys are 250 pounds, 250 and 263 pounds, respectively, Terrence and Mo. Tremendous ball skills, both of them. They both can run, insane amount of pride. And these guys came here early so they can play. And they put themselves in a position where they're going to play and contribute this year. Really proud of those guys.
Today was the first time we'd seen DJ Johnson. Good to have him back with the team.
It really is, good to have him back. DJ certainly did a great job for us last year, so looking forward to him, getting him rolling again.
Go ahead.
No, do it.
Swinson looks like he was one of the guys that cut the most weight this offseason. I believe it was around 35 pounds. Can you shed some light on what went into that decision?
Well, I don't know if it's 35. I think he got himself to 260. I think sometimes those weights, I see him sometimes, and I'm like, well, we got to, be a little bit more accurate, but that's my fault, and I got to make sure that they are. He's down about 20. He's at the 243 range, 244. Here's the thing about Braden is he's an exceptional athlete for a large guy. Excuse me. He's explosive. He's long. He's got a lot of range. The guy could bend. I mean, tremendous flexibility. A lot of pride. He's very young. Like he's a young, second-year player, and he's putting it all together now. This week in practice was probably the player that took the biggest jump of anybody at any position. Okay, that's Braden Swinson. He did it in the run game, setting edges. He did it in the run game, taking on double teams, which was, when you're a freshman and you're an edge player, that's one of the most difficult things that you have to do. When you're called upon to do that and you've never done it before, at least now with guys that know, what they're doing, where they're going, it's very difficult. He did a great job with that. And then as a pass rusher, he just continues to progress more and more and more. This is going to be a really big year for Braden.
How often do you encounter, talking about versatility, about him? You've got him in a hand in the dirt, 4-eye, and at times he could be as much as a wide 9 like KT. There aren't too many converted basketball playing 3-star recruits who have that kind of versatility. So, like in your time, how many times have you encountered somebody with that much versatility who's managed to put it together like he has?
Well, I mean, it's early. He's got to put it together in games, and we believe that he will. I think that the way that we recruit, particularly that position, we're looking for size and growth potential, as well as range, explosiveness, flexibility. Guys got to be very hip and ankle flexible. They got to be able to bend at their knees. They got to be able to come out of their hips. He did all that. I mean, he was, I believe, the region and state defensive player of the year. And you saw all that potential on film, but when you get to college, you got to learn a lot of stuff. So all those guys that had to go through what they went through and still come out on the other side and keep practicing and getting better, they deserve a lot of credit. With Braden, I could say this, not only is his value big on the edge on defense, the guy's done a great job on special teams. You're going to see Braden Swinson all over the field. All right. Did you guys enjoy it?
Oh, yeah.
It's good to have some football and some people. Good. How's everybody doing? We all hanging in?
Good. How are you?
Man, it's, for us, this is great. You wish you could keep going and going and going and going. Rules nowadays, I believe you have 75 minutes where you could go full, live ball, you can tackle. So, and you don't even approach that. You get your plays in. But all in all, I'll get it to you. I believe we had 51 to 52 plays with the ones. Same thing with the twos, threes had a. So all in all, about 135, 140 plays. So got some good work and lots of work to do. I appreciate you guys being here, for real, though. Appreciate you, okay? Drive safely, okay? God bless.
One of those days where Coach Cristobal had plenty to say, didn't he? That was fun, getting a chance to hear from him. Okay, so that was right after the scrimmage. So a couple of the takeaways. Hey, he thought Ty Thompson played really well. Wanted to look at some of the film of the O-line, D-line, and of the young wide receivers and tight ends. Well, when we come back, you're going to hear from Coach Cristobal following what I thought was a really energetic practice today. I thought the Ducks got after it. Following an off day, not on the field. They still had meetings, but an off day, not on the field. This morning, practice was pretty lively. We're going to hear from Coach from today, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to really volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor-charged characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're going to talk with Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, coming up in a moment ahead of Thursday's season opener. Mario Cristobal, though, today after practice, he met with the media. This is after he's reviewed the film and his thoughts on what I thought was a lively practice today. Here's Coach Cristobal.
Again, physical practice today. Really pleased with the way that the guys came out after a scrimmage like we did with 150, 60 plays and attack today with physicality. The situational football we played today was third and medium and long, some red zone opportunities, played some mixed down ball as well, and then had some blitz and pressure situations both against testing some protections and in the run game as well. But all in all, thought that we sustained better towards the end of practice. Emphasis on competition, making sure that competition is not just a tagline that you feel good about when it's going your way, that competition is something that is real and that you keep bringing it every day. And I think that has stuck. We've had some good guest speakers with some good messaging, and it seems like it's taken some very positive, impactful effect on us. So, questions?
With a chance to look back at the scrimmage, Mario, just what do you think of the quarterback play, and has there been any separation in that backup job competition right now?
Well, I think if you look at the entire body of work, you see a guy like Butterfield has taken a massive step during camp. On Saturday, Ty Thompson played, the best of all the quarterbacks. Robbie got back in there for a couple series. He was down for a couple of days with some minor stuff. But Saturday, definitely Ty had played the best of all the quarterbacks. Anthony has had a great camp. We pulled him a little bit, felt that his arm was overused, and we got to rest him so we don't cause any issues. But that about sums it up. So that being said, today those guys all took turns with the twos, and they performed well. And we think they keep getting better. But I guess that gives you a snapshot of the entire thing and then what you saw on Saturday. There was some very positive play by all those guys.
After Ty plays so well, is there any inclination to get him a little more time with the ones?
Well, I think all those guys are getting enough reps. We calculate them all. We don't make that information public material, but we feel like we're repping it fairly and that we're repping the situation, the guys taking the reps with the plays that fit their skill set. And Ty, again, he did a great job on Saturday.
Any different impressions of the scrimmage based on the film that maybe you hadn't had live that you picked up on film?
I don't know, without question. I think that tight end crew really stood out, and not just in the passing game, in the run game as well. I got to go first with the defensive line because I thought those guys created a lot of issues for the offense early on, both in the run and in the pass. They did a good job getting their hands on guys, controlling their gaps, controlling their blockers. We didn't run the ball too many times, but the times that we did, there was some back and forth, and it was good. But on third down, those guys created some issues. They created some issues with the way they pressed the pocket. They created issues with the way that they compressed the edges and just played with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. We talked about the linebackers on Saturday. All those guys really stood out. I can't say enough about the way Triquez Bridges has been playing and the way Dante Manning has been playing. A lot of guys, Steve Stevens really popped as well. Kingsley was a guy we mentioned on Saturday. Looking at film again, he's a guy that Jackson was down on Saturday, but those two guys have shown a lot of promise, and so has Marcus Harper, and so has JD, Jonathan Dennis. Faopes had some good reps. Saturday he did a nice job, but before that he was doing really, really well. So those guys really popped. Seven did some good things. I could go on for a little bit here now.
How's Harp handling doing some snapping? Is that coming natural to him?
No, that's a great question, man, because life changes when the ball's in your hands, right? There's a split second where you've got to cut down to a fraction of a split second so that you could be an effective football player. He's done really well. A lot of guys, you put a ball in their hand and they're paralyzed, they can't move. He's a guy that he's so knowledgeable, he's so smart and takes so much pride that he's playing fast because he's learned the game. The game has slowed down for him, allowing him to play fast. A lot of pride in his game. Physical guy, hard worker, doing a great job.
Tight end, a group that stood out, for you on Saturday. What's the health and availability looking like for that group?
Well, as you guys probably saw, Patrick Herbert did sustain a knee injury, and it's a good knee injury, so he'll be down for a while. With DJ joining us again and the way that Cam is coming around, we feel good about the depth there, but certainly going to miss Patrick because he was playing great football for us. Really, after coming off of a knee injury, he had been playing really well, just more physical, running routes really well. He's always had great hands, but again, just after being here a couple of years, he was getting accustomed and playing at a high level. But overall, the group has good depth, and we feel good about him.
Nice to have Red and Devin back out there today, and just where does Red start to fill? Obviously, I know he missed some time in the spring, so just where does he kind of fit right now in terms of conditioning and being on the field?
Oh, that's a great question. Here's the thing is that, we have a couple guys that work within our sports science department that are return-to-play specialists. A lot of times when you have injuries, you try to get guys back too early and they get injured again. So we acclimate them, and it's almost like a pitch count, and that pitch count applies to their indie reps, applies to their routes on air, applies to their 7-on-7 team reps. And those guys are going to be acclimated the right way, so by the time that the season rolls around, they can be legitimate contributors and impactful players. So that's what we're working on. We think they've progressed nicely. We're going to steadily increase them, and we do that with everybody. And we feel like that's where the program has taken a monster step in the way that our return to play is handled.
How did you see the specialists perform on Saturday, the kickers and punters?
With what they had presented to them, they handled it well. It wasn't much of a challenge. We did not rush field goals live. Felt that we hadn't practiced it enough to actually put a live rush on there. Didn't want to just cause something that we hadn't practiced or prepared for. I think Thompson has had an outstanding camp. He has, and you never mention Karsten Battles because he's so on point. And when you mention him, you're like, probably not a great thing. Well, in his case, the guy's always done really well. He's extremely dependable. He's done a great job coaching the other guys. That's where his value is starting to increase more and more. He's worked on his body so he can cover better balance and body control, has increased his speed. You can get that snapper down there in the punting game. It makes a difference, a big difference. So just really proud of him and what he's done.
What has Tom done to maybe improve so much?
Sure.
What has Tom done over the offseason, Tom Snee, to kind of make those strides?
He's a grinder. He really is. When he first got here, that was an adjustment. Making sure that two-step thing was something that at first was as foreign as can be for him. And he can tell you, I was all over him like there's no tomorrow. It was rough, but Tom is a resilient guy. He's, I'm not sure the fastest way to get to his house if you fly east or you fly west. I think you get there at the same time. So he's come halfway around the world to be here. He loves it here. We love him here. He just grinds. He's a perfectionist, man. He's a master of his craft, so you expect a big season out of him.
You had the guest speaker in over the weekend. You bring in former players and a lot of high-profile guests. When you go in to schedule those, what kind of goes through your mind as far as the type of person you want to bring in?
Yeah, it's a great question. We want to make sure it fits the culture. We don't just randomly pick a guy because we heard great things about him. I mean, you hear us say it a lot. We do things a certain way. You know, we're very much about how you do anything is how you do everything. That means something. It means everything, and we're not going to come off of that. And in order for a message to be impactful, it's got to be genuine and authentic, and that was part of, one of our speakers' messages. But it's got to hit you right between the eyes. It's got to be real. It's got to have substance, and then it's something you can carry with you. And we've been blessed with the guys that we have had here. And it does. This is a one time a year where you have these guys all to yourself. There are no classes. There are no. There's always distractions, but you don't have the major distractions that come with the hustle and bustle of daily life. We're in a bubble, and this is a great time to really a barrage of the right stuff and continually just stay on it and stay on it and stay on it until it becomes part of our DNA. So I hope that explains it.
Darren Barkins got tested a lot on Saturday, naturally. Do you feel like, how do you feel like he performed? Does he get some opportunities with the twos since he was a summer arrival? I know why he was with the threes, but does he get some opportunities? Did he earn that, or how do you feel like he did on Saturday?
Oh, he's rotating in there with some two work as well. We have some nickel and dime packages. I mean, as you saw, the guy's really fast. I mean, really, really fast. And the best thing he did, I know that everybody wants to celebrate the good coverages and everything else. The best thing he did is when he got beat on a pass, is go back there and rip it right out and get the ball back to the, to the defense. So Barkins is, man, he's going to be a good football player now. He's going to be a real, real good one. Another guy with a lot of pride. You can coach him hard. From the San Diego area, we take a lot of pride in that pipeline that has been created, and he's a guy that we feel is going to be a really good player for us, and he's going to be able to help us this year.
With Drew Mathis, how have you seen him progress? What have you kind of liked out of him during camp?
Yeah, in every way, from a leadership standpoint, understanding his assignments, helping others understand their assignments, talking to other guys, making sure he's a positive and impactful person. The way he carries himself is very important. I mean, from his body language to what he does on special teams, he's always full throttle, 100%. So he's one of those really strong keepers of the culture.
How valuable are he and Nate just as veteran guys in that inside group? Because a lot of younger guys.
A lot of value and experience, and those two guys, not only do they have a wealth of it, they have the right kind of mentality, the right type of intention. Everything they do is with a purpose. They don't ever just kind of walk out here and expect anything handed to them or expect things to be easy. They know we are a difficult, I would say, camp regiment and structure. They know that we challenge ourselves every day. And those guys, they grab their lunch pail, they go to work. All you hear about from them is positivity and impacting their teammates.
An issue that came up last week, Mario, nationally, with NIL, with BYU getting all of its walk-ons subsidized, at least for the year, and the idea of scholarship bleed being an unintended consequence potentially. Your feelings on, obviously, players getting paid is you're all supporting, but the idea that you could have a roster now of 100, 105, 110 scholarship players and what that might mean. You've been at places where that could get rather extreme, potentially.
It's hard to say until I guess see a little bit more data. I understand what you're saying, and I could see where the concern arises. It's just these are such uncharted waters. I'd kind of like to wait and see a little bit more and study a little bit more, since we're stuck in the submarine and haven't really seen the outside world or what's going on. I wish I had a better comment and answer, but I don't have one right now.
Goofy one for you, but because of you have 3 guys wearing 6 and 2 quarterbacks wearing 13. In the event of a game, I don't know what would happen at quarterback if they were both wearing that. So does rubber meet the road eventually at some of that?
Got to follow the rules, so whatever makes us abide by the rules, we'll do.
Yeah, it's a big question. A lot of people have been wondering, like, hey, you got both Ty Thompson and Anthony Brown have worn 13. Well, yeah, in the game they wouldn't be able to do that. So that's what Coach was alluding to right there. That was Coach After Practice today. From football to football. Graeme Abel is here, ladies and gentlemen, head coach Oregon Soccer. Hey, thanks for being here.
How we doing?
So I know that the exhibition season. I can't say you're 1-0, but you're 1-0. You guys won a game, right?
We'll take it.
Yeah. 2-0 victory. We talked about it at the start of the show. 2-0 victory over Corbin, Coach. Let's start there before we take a timeout and then talk with you a little more. What'd you like?
We got better as the game went on. We definitely, early on in the game, we definitely looked as though it was a preseason game. We spoke about that at halftime. The great thing is we're able to get, I think we were able to play 23 players in the game, which was awesome, to get everybody time, get everybody do a couple of different things within the team, give us a different level of fitness just in terms of playing the game. So things got better as the game went on. Moved the ball better, got into different areas of the field. Obviously scored off of a set piece, which was important. So a lot of positives to take from it. Good video, good teaching moments. So a lot of positives.
I was on Friday, a 2-0 win over Corbin. Hey, I was going to ask you, did you get everybody in that you wanted to? It sounds like you did.
Yeah, we did, which was great. And so being able to do that and being able to get people minutes, and and the beauty about it is for our freshmen, we don't jeopardize eligibility. So later down the line, if we had to redshirt someone or things like that, we're protected.
Yeah, that's interesting. It really is a chance. It's a huge evaluation period for you in that way, right? I mean, just how big is it?
It is. It gives us a chance to for all of our student athletes to experience what it's like in a game, playing at home, the entire game day, how all that goes into it, and then just see how they deal with different scenarios, different things we put in within the game, and then, like I said, we can recap it after the fact and teach from it.
It's a head coach-filled Duck Insider today. Quick timeout. We're going to come back more from Graeme Abel because the soccer season is underway, and the official opener Thursday, 7 o'clock, Pape Field. We'll talk to you next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, kind enough to join us in the Country Financial Studio, talking about that 2-0 win over Corbin. Now getting ready for Thursday's 7 p.m. start, the opener against Fresno State. Did you mean to do that? Did you mean to schedule Fresno State the same year that Oregon football opens with Fresno State?
I have no idea. Manny did it for me before he left. So
hey, I
fair
feel like there's a connection here.
Yeah, it must be. It must be a two for one.
Meant to be, right?
Yeah.
It has to be. We were talking a little bit about what you liked, what you didn't like, what can you learn on. What are those things you want to improve on now after you've seen your team in action heading into your opener on Thursday?
Continue to move the ball quicker. For the most part, as we look at it, our team's together from last year. We had, Anna Phillips played in the back line for us. Kes Elmore played up in the 11. We had different, people come in and out of the lineup. So as a group start to move the ball quicker, be more efficient on the attacking side of the ball. How quickly can we win the ball back, and then counter-attack against other teams, and then continuing on set pieces, continue to develop that piece. And we've got such unbelievable threats on the attacking side of the ball, and ridiculously good service, so we want to continue to be a threat on that side of the game as well.
Hey, how about one of those ridiculously good scorers as Allie Cook? It seems like she's really picked up where she left off, Coach.
Yeah, she's had a really good summer. She's come back in incredible, physical shape. Yeah, she's a monster. So she's tough to deal with. She's unorthodox at times. She's got a big body on her, strong, athletic, and she knows how to score goals. So that always helps.
How about the depth in your scoring ability as well? I mean, we talked a little bit about how you played a lot of people, but I thought that your second unit coming off the bench, they really helped you generate some offense for you against Corbin. I mean, just how nice is it to have that depth and scoring ability?
Well, if you look across the squad now, Lexi Romero, she was unlucky not to score her first goal as a Duck, but she was the, Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. Jordan Warmdahl, right before I got here, scored a ton of goals here at Oregon. Zoe scored goals in the past. Kess Elmore came from UConn. She scored goals. So, Eden Hardy got big goals for us last year, scored at Oregon State, got the first goal against Stanford. So we've got players across the team now who can all contribute on the goal scoring stakes. So it's again, we've got to get those players in positions, and then we have to execute on that side of the ball as well.
You also touched on how you've now had a chance to review film, some teaching moments. How fast do you do that after a game? I mean, you play Friday night. Is it Saturday morning? Is it Friday night? What's your approach to film study and teaching like that?
Yeah, we want to close the game out as quick as we can. We want to take the things that we wanted from the game. Did we execute on those things? And then we want to take learning moments as a group, take learning moments as individuals. We'll send some of it out with voiceovers, some of it with animations, some of it we'll do in person. And so we have all these different methods on how we can teach and quickly close the door on that game and move to the next, especially once we go into the Thursday, Sundays. We have to close the game on a Friday morning, and then on a Friday afternoon, evening, we're then preparing for our opponent on a Sunday.
What was it like just having fans there? I mean, and just that level of intrigue, I guess, back into it.
Yeah, it's just awesome just to be, fingers crossed, close to back to normal. So it's it's great.
I'm curious. Last year's such an odd year, and you're playing in the spring, just all these different things. Just what was your team's feeling like running out there on the field in a normaler year? Were there more nerves than normal?
I don't think so. I think they were just excited to be back playing, to be honest with you. And we held off a little bit. We went in full uniform. We went in practice gear and stuff. So I think there'll be a uniform reveal coming here in the next couple of days. And
that's a tease, everybody.
Yeah, that's a tease. That's a preview right there. So we'll go full uniform obviously for Thursday. So there's another little piece added on that they're excited about.
That's cool. Graeme Abel, Oregon soccer head coach, joining us. Before I ask you about a couple other things, how about this Fresno State team? When do you start diving into them as a coaching staff?
We've been looking at them now for the last week or so. We just met prior to coming on air. Good team. Brian's been there now. I think he's been in his 11th year. Really good technical team. Very good at breaking back lines, score goals. Got a variety of different types of goals. So it's gonna be a really good game and a really good test for us.
How nice is it to be at home to start?
Awesome. I mean, like I said, fans here in Eugene, incredible setting. So it's just gonna be really looking forward to it. I look at it as being my actual first real home game here at Eugene.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking about too. Is we talk so much about how we're just crossing fingers for being normal. I mean, for you, this has been quite the ride. I mean, we've talked about that you get here, a pandemic hits, you're trying to get to know your team. Are you going to play a season? You do play a season. It's in the spring. It's the shortest off season in the history of collegiate soccer. Now you're playing again, and you're here. Did I miss anything there?
No, I have to give credit to our student athletes because they've made it as easy as possible, to be quite honest with you. The way they took care of themselves, the way they followed all the guidelines that were put out by the Pac-12, the administration throughout the last fall, in the spring, they've made it easy for us, to be quite honest with you. And I've said this to them before. I'm having as much fun coaching right now as I have done with any team, and that is it's awesome. So we're having a blast.
I got to ask you a little bit about some of your connections to the U.S. Women's National Team. For those of you who haven't heard us talk in the past and don't know Coach Abel's resume, well, first of all, it's very long. You're one of those guys that probably is like, what, a 4-pager when it comes down to
no
a
idea,
resume?
just year to year.
I mean, well, no, in all seriousness, like it used to be that it was like, you got to keep your resume to a page. I mean, I get people's resumes now, they're like 3-4 pages long, and I'm like, when did this become the norm? Anyway, his is a long one, including time with the U.S. Women's National Team. Well, Carly Lloyd, the second most capped player in international soccer history. I mean, she announced retirement after these fall friendlies. You hear stuff like that. You worked with her. Just what's that like for a young generation of soccer fans, seeing her now move on in her career? Yeah, I mean, she's a incredibly driven woman. Very single-minded in terms of she's there to be the best. It's all business when it comes to Carly. Awesome off the field, but once she crosses that white line, she's all business. And I think the 2012 games in London onwards, she really took off in terms of the goals she scored for the team and how important she was in terms of the different pieces throughout those the World Cups, the Olympics. So now she'll it's actually going to be interesting. Her being retired, I don't know what she's going to do with her time, because she's been everything's been about the game and her getting better and driven. So can she coach?
It'd be interesting to see Carly coach, just because of I think she'd be a great coach from the standpoint of the standards she holds herself to are incredibly high. It's whether anyone can meet those standards. So
it's funny how there's been a lot of examples of the best athletes ever. It's if anybody can get to those standards. There's usually a little difference there. Generationally, like pretty much everybody on your roster probably grew up looking at what she was doing, right? I mean that's just a cool thing to think about, I feel like. It is. I catch myself. I try not to talk too much with the team about my time with the national team, just because it's gone now. I'm here at Oregon. Right. But I catch myself every now and again. There's so many great stories about all of those different players. Different moments that I had in my time and different things I was told about them that makes them who they are, and that's why they have the success that they do. Just because of incredibly driven, the environment that they're in, competitive, all those pieces that go with it. That's why they're successful. Well, that's what I'm here for, to ask you about these sorts of things then, right? See? It's a teamwork. It's all good. See? I know my role, and I just try to not get in your way. I'll give you stories. That's no problem. Great. That's what we're here for. Well, during the break, we talked a lot about hats. Unfortunately, we're out of time. I'm not going to, but I will tell you that I got my bucket hat, and apparently this isn't even the best bucket hat, according to Coach Abel. Nike golf bucket hat. Extremely large brim on it. Great for gardening. Great for teeing off on the 18th hole. I mean, it does it all, especially for my skin that doesn't do too well in the sun. Me too, can you tell? This has been Hat and Sunburn Insider with Graeme Abel. Thanks for being here, Coach. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Fresno State, Pape Field, Thursday, 7 o'clock. Be there. It is the opener for Oregon soccer, and it's what we're calling the first real official game for head coach Graeme Abel. Best of luck, Coach. Thanks for the time. Thanks, Joey. We're going to get a quick time out. When we come back, Tahina Paopao. We'll talk a little bit more about Team USA and another Duck connection to Team USA. You got to love it on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Back on Doug Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. So yeah, we got bucket hats today, folks. It was a bucket hat kind of day at practice. Maybe I look like the Wicked Witch of the West. Like the high hat doesn't work with the bucket hat, and then I'm sitting here in all black today. Apparently I got the Johnny Cash memo.
That's not a good look.
No, we're gonna take that off. We're not gonna do that with the headset again. Hey, how about Tahina Powpow working out with Team USA? The women's U19 national team finished off a dominant run at the FIBA U19 World Cup, a 70-52 decisive win over Australia in the title game Sunday in Hungary. Powpow got the start in all 7 games for Team USA, which won every game but the title game by at least 30 points, and they still won the title game by 18. Not too bad, huh? Congratulations to Tahina Powpow. That's a gold medal. Caps a busy summer for Team USA for a number of Oregon players, as Powpow, Sydney Parrish, Maddie Shear, Kylie Watson were all competing in the basketball 3x3 national tournament in June. Sonona Prince won gold with the USA Basketball AmeriCup team later the month. Not bad, huh? Not too bad. That's your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Cafe Yum restaurant serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next gathering or meeting. Menus, cafeyum.com. Women's soccer, following a 2-0 win over Corbin, the opener. That was an exhibition. The opener is Thursday. Oregon volleyball wrapping up their green and yellow scrimmage. The alumni scrimmage is now this weekend. We'll talk to Matt Ulmer tomorrow. And, well, Coach Cristobal and the Ducks back at practice tomorrow. Talk to you then.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's